Shalom. All right, this is your brother Samak with another lesson, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to our elders and apostles, a great millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. All right, so I'm coming with a quick lesson here. I don't want to make it too long. I kind of just want to do a quick touch on Daniel, the second chapter. All right, specifically going from like the 30th, 31st verse, and push into like the 39th-ish, maybe to like the 46th verse. So we're going to take a quick look at it. So as you can see on the screen, all right, this is an image of Nebuchadnezzar's dream, right? This is the statue that was shown in the Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon at the time. So when you read through Daniel, basically what happened was Judea was pretty much besieged by the Babylonia, okay, the king Nebuchadnezzar, and he besieged it, and the Lord gave the king into his hands, and four of the sons of Judah, which were Daniel, and then the three other men got different names, right? But you had Daniel, you had Hananiah, you had Mishael, and Azariah. But their names, other than Daniel, had got another name, which was like Belteshazzar, and the others were Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So when you read through Daniel, basically that's what happened. All right, and then the king Nebuchadnezzar had a dream that he didn't understand. And he sought the wise men of Babylon to interpret his dream, but without telling them. So basically, he wanted the wise men to interpret the understanding of his dream without him ever even telling them. And they were like, "Yo, I mean, we can interpret your dream, but you gotta tell us the dream first." And he was like, "Nah, we're not doing that." So then he sought to, kill all the wise men of Babylon because they couldn't interpret the dream. But he said that anybody who could, he would bless them, basically. So, when word got out to Daniel that, the wise men were going to get slain, he basically consulted with the head eunuch. I believe it was the head eunuch. I forgot his name. It was like Ariak, I believe. Let me go to it. Give me a second. Yeah, Ariak, however you pronounce that. But he was like the head eunuch in charge of the kings, going out giving that order. And Daniel was like, "All right, look, give me some time. Let me figure out how I can interpret this dream so I can save the wise men." Because the Lord gave him favor in his eyes, so he gave him that time. So Daniel went and prayed to the Heavenly Father, and the Heavenly Father, not only did the Heavenly Father show him the dream, but he also gave him the understanding thereof. So, and this is pretty much what it is a depiction of what we're seeing. Now, let's go ahead and let's jump into it. So we're going to start Daniel 2 and 31. It says, "Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. The great image whose brightness was excellent stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible." Right? It says the image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, and his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet of part iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. All right, so that's going into, it's pretty much breaking down this image, right? You had a head of gold, you had arms and chest of silver, you had belly. You had belly of gold. No, sorry, not belly of gold. Salakia. You had a belly of brass, right? belly and thighs of brass, right? And then you had legs of iron, and then feet of iron and clay mixed, right? So just generally breaking down, you can see the image on the screen breaks it down, right? The gold going into the Babylonian Empire, right? And then you have all the empires that came after it, right? So you had the Babylonian Empire, then you had the Median Persian Empire, all right, which you go into the Median Persian Empire was, the Median Empire, and the Persian Empire, essentially, or prior to the Persian Empire, it was the Perses, and they were at war, and pretty much the Persians essentially conquered the Medes, and that was the Archimedean Empire, or the first Persian Empire, right? So that's the silver, the brass going into the Grecian Empire, or the Greeks, right? And then the iron going into Rome, the Roman Empire, and then which is Great Rome, right? Going, really comprised of the Caesars, and then the feet going into pretty much modern modern Rome, right? So all of the kingdoms, right? It goes into them like Italy, France, England, Belgium, Holland, even modern Greece, Spain, right? Portugal, so on and so forth, right? Going into those empires, which generally, if you look at it, it's the EU and America, right? Because America and EU, also NATO, they make up the world's, they're pretty much the global leader in economic and military might, right? So the NATO, right? Just, the North Atlantic Treaty, right? Pretty much just keeping it very simple, NATO, which is the EU and the United States, which they're one and the same. That's why when, although Babylon is considered the United States of America, Europe is pretty much like a twin to America, right? So when the missiles come hit America and destroy America, don't think that Europe and parts of Europe are not going to get destroyed, especially places like the Vatican, the land over in Israel, Palestine, all that's going to get destroyed, man. So a big portion of Europe is going to get severely touched too. But America specifically, United States, is going to be completely wiped off the face of the earth. So let's continue on in Daniel 2, left off at 36. All right, and this is when Daniel's actually going to break down the dream. So Daniel pretty much just told Nebuchadnezzar the dream, and then now he's going to tell him the interpretation thereof. And this is going to break down what you see on the screen right here. Verse 36, this is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the Most High of heaven have given thee a kingdom, power, strength, and glory, right? Because the Babylonian kingdom was a very great kingdom, very prosperous, very powerful, very might, right? And it was pretty much like a great influence for the rest of the kingdoms that followed after it. Because a lot of the other kingdoms following after it tried to mimic that of Babylon. That's why America today is considered Babylon the Great, right? Or the daughter of Babylon. So verse 37 says, thou, O king, art the king of kings. Oh, I just read that, Slack 38. It says, and wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given unto thee, unto thy hand, and have made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. So that kingdom that came after it, which is silver, is inferior to that of Babylon, and that's going into the Median Persian. And then the third kingdom, which is of brass, is going into the Greeks, right? Going into Alexander the Great, right? Alexander the Great and his empire and everything that came after him, right? And then you have before that, the Silver Empire, which the Median Persians, which was like predominantly Cyrus, Darius, and them, right? And then going down, verse 40, the fourth kingdom, and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall break in pieces and bruise, right? And this is going into the Roman Empire, which was under the order of the Caesars, right? The great Roman Empire. So that Roman Empire, the reason why I said it's of iron, because iron breaketh into pieces, man. Many different things. And when you kind of take a look at this image, as you can see, pretty much the minerals are going down in value. So gold being the most precious, silver, brass, iron, and then clay. So it's going down in value, but not necessarily decreasing in might, because when you go, going down, we're going to go down to it. But the Roman Empire, they were very great. They subdued, the Roman Empire was very, was a very mighty empire. And that's why pretty much we say that America is the Roman Empire, modern day Egypt, Rome, Greek. It's all of these kingdoms wrapped up into one. But it being that, it's also showing his weakness, right? So let's go into it. It says 41. It says, whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with the merry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And that's going into just pretty much like the dividing of all the different nations. They're united yet diverse, right? Going into EU, going into United States. Their powers, they're strong, right? They have the might of the iron, but they're divided, in which the divisions what makes them weaker, right? As the clay. That's why it says partly strong, partly broken. Verse 43, this is and whereas thou sawest iron mixed with merry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. 44, and this is going, and now we're about to dive. Now we kind of broke down the statue. Now, what's to come after this? Daniel's going to go ahead and break it down. It says, and in the days of these kings shall the God, the Most High of heaven, set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. And this is going into Yahushua kingdom, because Yahushua's kingdom, which is going to be the kingdom of heaven, right? New Jerusalem is going to, when Yahushua comes down with his armada of heaven, right? His angels, his chariots, right? Great power. He's essentially going to subdue all nations, right? The Valley of Jehoshaphat, where he's going to wage war against all the nations as they're warring for the power seat. Yahushua is going to come down, and I forgot which president it was. Was it Reagan? It might have been Reagan, or I believe it was Ronald Reagan. He said that, and if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments, but I'm gonna look it up after this. But he said that if the whole world were at war, the only thing that would unite all of the nations is if a common threat came from the sky, which they would say would be aliens, but we know which would be the Lord, Yahushua. So they say that that's the only way that the world's nations will come together to fight and subdue the enemy. And that's biblical prophecy, because it says that when Yahushua comes back, that all of the nations of the earth will stop warring against each other and look to the sky to subdue the man that come from the sea, which is talking about outer space or heaven. All right. So it says 45, for as much as thou sawest a stone was cut out of the mountain without the hands, and it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, the gold, the great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof is sure. All right, and it's going into how Yahweh Shai is going to break down all of the world's powers, man. So when you look at this chart, all of these great nations, all right, being wrapped up into one in the latter days. All right, Yahweh Shai is going to come and he's going to pretty much all of the influences of every kingdom, all of the similarities, all of the remnants of these kingdoms. Yahweh Shai is coming and he's cutting them down and breaking them to pieces and subduing them, and they're going to be forever in subjection unto Yahweh Shai and his men, which are the elect, because it's ultimately Yahweh Shai's kingdom, not ours. We're simply joint heirs to that kingdom. All right. So that's pretty much like a general summary of Daniel 2, going into Nebuchadnezzar's vision, his dream, and a sign of the latter times to come. So I'm gonna leave it there. Like I said, I don't want to make this too long. I want to just kind of get to the point, break it down. I like to keep my lessons to the point, straight at it. I was kind of going over it in the spirit hopped on me to do a lesson on this. So Lord willing, brothers, sisters, we're edified. Till next time, shalom.